It is. Are we not live yet?
Shenanigans.
Okay, we're good.
That was the fake out. I didn't get the 2-1, and then it was like, hey. Oh, hey, we were live. I mean,
I'm
turn
going
my
to go ahead
volume
and
down.
turn this down for Carlos.
Sorry.
There you go, buddy.
Trying to join in too, right?
You are.
Yeah.
You are.
It is March 24th, 2022, and we are live. Welcome back, everyone, to the SouthPoint podcast
Hey.
live. My name is Carlos Tello, and I'm excited to bring you all episode number 40. Woohoo!
40.
That's a solid number.
We'll catch up to my age
We'll catch up there
eventually.
soon, right?
That's a biblical number. Come on, man.
It
Somebody lean
is.
into that.
It is.
40 is a biblical number, Jason. Do you know the meaning of 40 in the Bible?
I know what I think it does. What is it?
It's
That was a good.
testing.
That was a good like.
It means testing. 40 days. 40 days in the wilderness. Well,
Uh-huh.
40 years in the wilderness. 40
Uh-huh.
days in the desert. Jesus and 40.
Jesus.
Overall.
40,
Testing.
40.
Testing.
Testing. 1, 2,
3, 4, 5.
5.
It's
40.
going to be a while. We got to go to 40.
40. Testing
40.
to 40. Go ahead.
40.
40.
With me today, Pastor Craig Wendel.
You paused like you almost forgot my name.
No, I did not.
You were like,
I was going to try to come up
Craig,
with
right?
something
You're
wit-
still Craig?
No, I was trying to come up with something funny, and I had nothing.
Nothing.
Like the wheel started spinning, the little thing, and nothing happened.
Nothing.
Our next generation pastor, Carson Kreuger, is in the house.
What's up, everybody?
Your hair, dude.
Love it. This. You ready?
No, don't do it.
Get those
The
wild-
curls.
The curls are in, baby. Curls are here to stay.
The constant disapproval by Jason Burton over here. From the hair, not from.
Face. Oh,
What's up, buddy?
You know, it's a full-time job.
It is. My lovely wife Jackie is here, helping us all out on social media, talking to you out there, and of course, producer Katie is here to make us look and sound great every
Hello.
time. Hey, Katie.
I'm eating my oatmeal over here, so
That's
I may
okay.
be quiet.
I got a
Eating my
little
oatmeal.
granola bar. How you guys doing?
I'm doing well. Very well. Yeah.
Are you-
It's almost, I'm doing very well. Things are good.
My life is good.
My life is good. I'm living my best life now. My best life now. Heading into summer, it's just, these are good things. Good things.
The pool's open.
You just
The pool is open.
Straight skipped over spring.
Who needs spring when summer's coming?
We definitely need spring.
His
You and
garden
your
can't
rain.
handle it.
I know. Jason's all about the garden and the rain, and I guess that's important to some people.
Yes, it's important.
Ooh.
You have the rain. We have this agreement. You just bring me your tomatoes.
Bring me.
You grow
Bring
them
your tomato.
and bring me
I'm
tomatoes.
just going to bring
me
you
your-
all the shriveled up tomatoes.
Bring me your
No.
maters.
And I'm going to look at you and say, this is because you don't like rain.
What is that?
So here's your
I
sun-dried
love
tomatoes.
tomatoes.
I can kill your weeds guy, but with tomatoes. Let me have your maters. That's awesome.
Yeah, spring's fine and all. The summer, but bring me your tomatoes while you're
Bring
at
me
it.
your tomatoes.
In the meantime. So pool is open.
Pool is open, 54 degrees.
54 degrees.
54.
Holding at a solid 54.
You shock
Polar-
the heart as you swim. How am I doing this?
I sent you a video. There was a little kid. He was like, "Yeah, I want to get in the pool," and he's got to be like 3 or 4. The dad's like, "It's cold, and the kid jumps in and he makes it like just to the steps. He's
Just
like, "I don't
barely.
want to go swimming anymore."
Kids are all excited. They don't believe you how cold it is until they jump in, and then they're like, oh.
No, it's like you said, shock to the system.
Horrible.
Shock to the system. How did you guys have a good spring break?
Yes.
Yeah,
Last
we
week?
did. We did.
Now, how do the homeschool kids do it? Do you just observe it like along with everybody else, or
Like normal.
I don't know? You could pick your own week, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Y'all,
Plot twist, they don't go home.
They chose for spring break to stay home and make soap,
Yes.
which is what all
Candles.
homeschool kids
We
do.
made our own candles.
Candles and soap.
Yes. Out of earwax.
No,
Been
what
saving
did,
up for a while.
What did you guys do? I know what
we
you did, but
took a trip to the very northernmost part of Kentucky.
hey,
We stayed in Florence, I think is what it was called. Yeah, and we went to the Ark Encounter. So we did encounter.
Was it
the
cool?
Ark. It was cool. Yeah, I mean it's a big boat.
it's a big.
it's a big boat.
Oh yeah, you walk up and it's impressive if it's it's built to scale. So it's
We
massive.
were close to you guys, but we did not make the trip.
I'm not finished with my
further.
trip,
Well,
Carlos.
fine. I'm sorry.
Golly.
Ooh, somebody's salty.
Grumpy Jason every
Just
other
need
week.
you to stay on
Jason,
task.
do you need to go in
man.
timeout?
Sit over there, eat my snack.
So where were you guys in Kentucky?
Well, I'm already eating there. You can say it. Where were
We were in Taylorsville.
Taylorsville?
Which is probably like 45 minutes outside of Lexington.
Louisville,
Oh.
babe. We're right outside Louisville.
Oh, Louisville.
Louisville?
Louisville.
Louisville? Is
Yeah.
it not Louisville?
It is
It is
Louisville.
Louisville.
Oh, okay.
But it
is
looks like
Louisville.
it's
They
Louisville.
say Louisville for
Every
no.
town,
Yeah,
every
Louisville.
town around that area had a
A
ville
Ville
on it.
on it, yeah.
Yes.
Wool.
All I can think about is bringing down Omeletville.
You could just be like, the Ville. Welcome to the Ville.
The
And
Ville.
it's all these different
It's all the
villes.
vills.
We also took a trip to the Creation Museum.
Oh,
Yeah.
Where
They
is
didn't
that?
create anything, but
you didn't
It
create
was-
anything, or they did?
I didn't. I mean, I did. I created a few things. Moments, memories.
Okay, glad I went there.
Could have gone
Bowel
south
movement.
real quick.
My
Nah,
goodness.
bathrooms were pretty busy. I didn't have to do that. So.
There it is. Carson, you went on a trip.
I did. I had a really good trip. I went to Phoenix, Arizona. Got to
Pahonix.
go up and do a lot of golfing. Got to go hiking. I did not die on
That's good.
the Superstition Mountains. Almost
Is that what they're
did.
called?
They're called the Superstition Mountains and the Lost Dutchman State Park. That is the.
Sounds like a Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
It's pretty awesome. It's
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a pretty cool. And it's the Dutchman's actually has nothing to do with shipping. It has to do with mining. So it was kind of cool. But it was
I climbed the Lost Dutchman.
it was so pretty.
Arr.
It was awesome. Phoenix is definitely a go back city for me. Like I would love to go back and just tour all of Arizona. It was so much fun. So much
That's
fun.
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Craig, did
So-
you enjoy your spring break? Sorry, Jay.
The moment
okay.
passed.
I know.
I did yard work and stuff around the house and
Open the pool.
opened the pool, started pressure washing my fence. You know, just that. And that might be why I don't like spring so much because
Wiping
spring.
the grunge of winter off. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, that is what I'm doing.
Yep.
Spring is for me a lot of work
Yep.
in the yard around the
Yep.
house, and you want to get it done before summer because summer gets here and it's
Nobody
hot.
wants to do
It's
that.
hot. You
Yep.
don't want to do anything in the summer except lay by the pool,
Mm-hmm.
which is fabulous. But you got to get all your work done first. So I just worked a lot at home and here.
Mhm.
But it was good. You know, part of it. Just living the man life.
Just living it.
Living it.
Living it. Out of your history of being young and growing up, did you guys ever have that really bad road trip? Did you ever have one of those that you can share, like a quick story to share, like just something memorable you can remember,
Bad
like a
road
like
trips?
a like a Griswold vacation
Oh,
that
yeah,
just
I
went
got
wrong
those.
on every turn?
My
Yeah.
dad and I were leaving when I was like 11 years old from Minnesota, going fishing for walleye, and I looked out the back of the Ford Explorer, and there were sparks and fire because the trailer hitch broke, and we were dragging the boat
Yes.
for 3 miles down the interstate. The only thing holding the boat on was the safety chain.
The toe chain.
And we were there on the side of the road for 6.5 hours while we waited for the police and the sheriffs to help us fix everything. But we didn't die.
Holy
Did
smokes.
you have to tow it? Now I'm fascinated. Did they weld the hitch right there?
They spot welded the hitch so we could get home. And I mean, it was very casual. I just looked back and there was just fire. And I was like, "Hey, Dad, the boat's on fire." And he was like, "What in the world?" And freaked out, swerved on the interstate. Oh, it was awesome. When we went out to the back, we've got the picture. I mean, it's like that. That's all that's left of the hitch and the boat.
Oh, my
and the boat
gosh.
tongue is just dragging.
Wow.
That's so funny.
So that was fun. And then the Explorer died. Like
I wonder how many people
a
were
year
past
later.
you, just like looking, and your dad was just like, you know,
we were just cruising. I was listening.
They're all pointing, and he's just
Yeah.
like,
I
"Hey."
was listening to his Walkman, and he was just grooving to a book. We didn't even care.
Apparently.
He was
Apparently.
like, he was like, "Man, I guess that's why people were honking at me." I'm
like
like,
the scene in Planes,
thought it
Trains,
was cool.
Automobiles, and he's going the wrong
Yes,
way, and
yes.
they're like, "You're going the wrong way." And he's just like, "What?"
Just waving, just
Yeah,
happy.
he's just waiting. Ah, okay.
Yep. Yeah, it was. That was fun. We didn't die though.
No,
Caught
didn't
a lot
die.
of fish.
That's good. So you still went fishing?
Oh yeah, that
or
was
was that on the way back?
That
Oh,
was
that
on the way back. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So nothing. None of you guys.
We
You
had
can remember?
no. I mean, I have lots of memories of taking long trips from Michigan to Florida and Michigan to Hattiesburg,
Oh.
Mississippi,
What a drive.
in the Brady Bunch station wagon.
The family
That
truck.
is
Yeah.
what we owned. We owned. I think it's called a Kingswood Estate. I think is what
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
the name of.
It had actual redwood trees down
It
the
had
side
the
of it, didn't it?
the
Yes.
wood side
Yes.
paneling,
Actual red
luggage
wood
rack on
tree.
top,
Yes.
and I rode in the seat facing backwards because in those, it was
Oh wow.
all the whole way.
Probably didn't have
with
to wear a seatbelt either, did you?
That sounds
no,
like
they
a cool
didn't have
seat
like
now.
They
had
didn't
it
even
back-
have seatbelts.
They probably didn't
back
have
then.
it.
Yeah.
That sounds
Yeah.
like a cool seat though. Now, like if you had like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, like music, and
Especially
you
as a
could sit back
kid.
and lean, that'd be kind of cool.
And we had a luggage rack, and the big plastic topper kind of thing. And our first year taking it to Florida, it whistled because the bracket was like a C, upside down C, and just somehow it was just this high pitch, like that
Yeah.
for hours. And I remember my mom finally getting so angry. She was like, Milt, you better pull over and fix this. And he pulled into a gas station and got some duct tape. And so this just added to the class, duct taped the bracket to cover that. And it fixed it. It looked like who'd have thunk it when we pulled into our
Holy
Howard
smokes.
Johnson's
Oh, yeah.
motel, Hojo's. So,
The motel.
not a hotel, a motel.
Jason, no.
Are we
stories?
talking spring break?
I'm talking any kind of road trip.
Oh,
It don't
okay.
matter.
Well, yeah, we did road trips. We did twice the big drive across the continent to the panhandle of Idaho. And
Who
those
is?
are s-
Who is?
What is the question?
You said Idaho, and I was like, who?
That was awesome. I can't believe you didn't expect
That
that
was
one.
good. That was good.
Come on, Jason.
He's dead.
All my momentum is gone.
Driving across Idaho.
Yeah.
You're somebody who used the continent. That was so like.
So those were usually 10 hours of driving per day, and it was 3.5 days of driving. And, just so you know, flat, the definition of flat is
Yes.
Nebraska. All of it.
Yes.
All of it.
Yes.
Yeah, all you
Yeah.
see is just the far beyond.
You
right?
can
There's
see
just-
the concave curve of the Earth. It's that flat. It feels that flat. Okay. You feel like the Earth is wrapping up around you. It's like what's happening? And then you get out of that into where there are hills and mountains and whatnot, into Wyoming, where the definition of dry is. And then finally you get into Montana, and it's beautiful up in
Montana's
the
gorgeous.
western part of Montana.
Yeah.
So, they were great memories, though,
absolutely.
because we
Yeah.
get way up there. And
They
it's
sound horrible though.
the
Kidding me.
drive.
The drive is
It's where I learned to
yeah.
hate Diet Coke, because my parents were on the Diet Coke thing at that point. And that's all we ever had was Diet Coke and the little
Oh.
coolers in between our. So we had captain chairs in the front and the middle for the minivan that we had, and
Mhm.
we're all excited. Oh, we got our own cooler back here, and you open it up, and it's nothing but
Diet
that, and it's the worst.
The
The worst.
I just want water. I don't want this stuff.
How could we? Can't we just have some water,
Give us
please?
some water.
Yeah.
No, Diet Coke's good for you.
Oh, God.
Wow.
That's
we-
my.
yeah. We had several road trips like back in the day, but the most memorable was probably driving through a snowstorm heading back towards Dallas.
Mm.
And I'm sitting in the back seat. My mom's driving. My granddad's in the passenger seat. And at some point, we just go we just start spinning and go off like down into the ditch, somewhere in Arkansas. And so me and my granddad we weren't that far from an exit, so I don't remember if we hitched a ride with somebody. We both got in this car, got to an exit, get to the gas station, and we're like asking anybody if they could tow us. And of course, like the big redneck guy's like, "Oh yeah, I'll come tow you," and he couldn't wait. And he hit the big giant truck, and it took some effort, but we got out of there. It was good. That was my most memorable thing as far as like disasters happening.
So what about specifically spring break trips?
Spring break
what about
trips.
those?
Well, we just had one, and we were in about an hour and 45-minute traffic stop coming back through Jackson.
Yeah.
Did
man.
you guys
sounds
hit that
awesome.
traffic coming back?
I don't know what day did you come back.
It was a Saturday.
We came in on Wednesday. However, there were some pretty nasty accidents right outside of Florence that stacked up traffic for us going south, and then another one right outside of that was pretty gruesome.
We made it through it okay.
We made it through.
I
Well,
wrapped my face around a
patience
blanket
was tested
'cause I do
over
not-
here.
I am not a patient person. To sit still.
Really?
Shut up, Carson. It was torturous. So I just got my blanket, wrapped it around my face, put my earbuds in. We were good. Hour and a half.
I mean, we were just burning.
Nobody died.
We were burning
It
through
was
the playlist. The kids were actually entertained
They
by
were good.
themselves. They had their electronic devices.
Fully charged. And
I had a full bladder in an hour and 45 minutes waiting to get to the next exit.
That would.
And then it turns
that
out,
would've
and this
killed me.
is listen, if there's any truck drivers out there watching or watching back, you got to figure this out because these two truckers were just holding back some folks, and I was trying to figure it out. We was like, all of a sudden we were at this standstill, and then like 30 minutes go by, and all of a sudden we were just moving, and then it come to a stop again. Well, it turns out these truckers were just stopping and holding everybody back. Why? I don't know why. And then she's like, "Oh, the guy's eating." They were just sitting there, just chilling out, you know.
Hey man, when you got to go 10-hour shift around, you be in the middle of that truck. You be,
Yeah.
Dang it, I'm eating my egg
I
salad
guess so,
sandwich.
but move out the way.
Yeah, move out the way.
I think that has a lot to do with their time that they're allowed to travel.
That's fine.
So if they have,
move out of the way.
yeah,
Stay in the right
they
lane.
don't want to lose their spot.
I just pastor a church. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't drive trucks.
I know you don't. That's fine. I'm just
I
saying.
don't know. I
It's
don't
like,
know why
it's
they
like
do
you
it.
know, road etiquette.
But if there's any truckers out there, maybe they could answer that. Maybe there's
Maybe
a
they could.
reason. I don't know.
I'm gonna ask Jack. Doesn't he drive trucks?
He does.
I'm gonna ask Jack.
Jack would know.
All right, Jack. I want to answer.
Good story.
It is a good story. It was.
Yep.
It was still a fun trip.
answer.
It was still a fun trip. I don't think that was. It was good. It was a good spring break though. We are currently going through the book of Psalms.
We are.
This series called Joyride. It has been fantastic so far. Hope you all are enjoying it out there. Thank you for joining us live right now. Don't forget to drop your comments and your questions. Do we have anybody commenting out there?
Yeah, we've just had several people say hello. Tim and Eva. And then Eva was commenting as far as your old school car. She said the seat facing backwards is called the way back.
We did call it the way
She
back.
said I always got stuck back there because I was the redheaded stepchild. No matter where we went.
No matter where we went.
No matter where.
Wow.
I was just the youngest boy. Well, the
You were the
youngest
youngest,
child, and so
right.
it was always.
Oh my
We just called it the way back, though, not the way back. We had to take
Short
off one of the
It
ways.
sounds
One of
very
those.
distant.
It was
and,
the back
like,
seat
lonely.
and the way back. It was lonely
That's
because if you
that's
tried to
what
say
you
anything,
with
your
families,
sisters would
yeah.
just hit you. They just you stick your face up. Hey, can we? Wham! That's all you got. So you just
Way back.
stayed in your little way back.
Mom, they can't hear you. Just shut up.
Oh my Lord!
Yeah.
And did you guys do as kids draw the line on the seat? You
Don't
can't.
touch me.
Don't touch me.
Don't touch
not
me.
not a real line. That imaginary line, like this.
You
is-
seem like you have
No.
that now, though.
Oh, I definitely.
You didn't do
We
that?
had captain's chairs.
Oh yeah, you were rich.
We had the.
You were bougie.
We were bougie. We had. Yes, we had the canyon in between, so
Yeah,
it was well
You
defined.
had your own personal space.
I did.
we had the Whistler luggage rack.
Yeah.
The Whistler.
Duct tape and whistlers.
Whistler
Whistler
5000.
5000. That's fantastic. I just want to say, great job, both of you guys. The last couple of weeks has been fantastic. I heard, I've heard people were like, "Man, that was Carson's best message ever. That was really good." And then Craig says, "Hold my communion," and comes back with the one you did this past
Oh, my
week.
He did say, "Hold my communion." Yeah.
I heard somebody tell you in the lobby like that was the best one you've ever done. So I mean,
It's all downhill from here.
Yeah, I
brother.
know. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no pressure for what's coming next, guys. I mean,
I used to take a lot of pressure from that when people, like years ago, when people would say, "Oh, that's the best message ever." So then in my brain, I would think, okay, well, the next one has to be better. It has to be better.
yeah.
And so I became in competition with myself, and that's a horrible road to go down because it's just not. It's not even possible
Right.
to always get better. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just it's not.
So would you
possible.
rather hear, "Hey, that was really good. I think you can do better, though."
Have you heard? I'm sure you've heard that before.
I've
right?
heard that. I've heard.
I hear that more than I hear that was the best message ever.
One of the this is one of my favorites. Please don't say this ever again. But they would come up to. I've had people come to me and say, and they're being serious, like they were being serious. I mean, that was. I've heard you do better. Okay, thanks. I'll work on that. That's so encouraging.
I've only got 2 more services to go.
Thanks for that. Appreciate the encouragement. No, I definitely appreciate people saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
that was your best one ever," or "That was
Yeah.
really good," or I mean, that is enjoyable.
It has a lot to
accolades are
do
nice.
with the person, though, because that's
Absolutely.
very subjective. Because if they were not paying attention or
Mhm.
they were not in the right headspace, you're probably not going to get those kind of comments.
Yes.
But then you'll get the comment, like you even mentioned in the service, of the man. I really like that one point. It's, oh yeah, which one were you talking about?
No, I can't remember.
I don't
Jesus.
That one about Jesus.
That one about Jesus.
Yes.
Jesus. I like him very much.
I think it is subjective because you can be going through
Yeah.
things, and then that right message comes
Yeah.
around. You're like, holy smokes,
Yeah.
that was so good because it was talking about what I'm dealing with, and I think that could go along with it.
But
As a-
I will confirm, I think that both of those messages were very good.
Yes.
I don't know that I've not heard all of your messages, nor have I heard all of yours. So I don't know if it was the best one, but it was really good.
Thanks. One of the things about preaching, and this is what Carson did, and this is what I did in that first week. Well, no, not Psalm 1, but the Psalm 37. When you're preaching a life message, it's just easier. I mean, it really is easier for the speaker, and there should be more passion, and it should be better. You know, Carson gets up to deliver, and I knew that was that's his life psalm. You know, so if it sucked, then I'd have to stop and say, "Hey, bro, is that really your life?" You know, I mean, like, because that was not good.
That was not good.
You need to find a new verse. So I expected that, and I'm very, I mean, he did do a fantastic job.
Yes.
But it's just that I can preach Psalm 37 anytime, anywhere, any day, and it'll always be different because I just find new things from it. But yeah, it's fantastic. And this Sunday, Patty is preaching, and she's
right.
preaching on Psalm 27, which is one of her faves. And so that'll be great. And so I love the idea of this whole series where we're just hearing from some different people on their psalms.
Yep.
I
and
think
we're
it's-
getting them daily online, correct?
Yes.
Everybody has been
socials.
reading them off, so it's been great. If you're not following us on social media, I'm not sure what you're doing, but obviously you're watching us, so I mean.
They're probably smoking crack. Just saying. No.
It's always a little helpful.
At least they're having a good time. Okay.
Jason,
We're
as
having a good
as
time.
We're having a good time.
as a worship leader, someone who plays instruments, do you ever get that? Like, yeah, you could have, like.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, most musicians are their worst enemy anyway. I mean, their own worst enemy. So, there's always, I didn't quite hit that note, or I didn't really feel that at all. I didn't put anything into that, whatever.
Yep.
I was just, phoning it in. But,
A lot of times you're the only one that knows to mess up.
oh, no, there are plenty
Well,
of people around me that know.
musically.
When I mess up, I make sure others
They make
know.
everybody tells you.
Vocally, yes, but like musically, you might miss a part or whatever. And really
I
nobody
laugh
knows.
every time I mess up.
That, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So if you see me smiling,
That's not her having a good time. It's she screwed up.
I'm garbage. I gotta
Hey,
fix this.
the best, by the way,
Everything's fine.
the best time to have a really screwed up thing that you do musically is when you're playing the piano at the end of a sermon. When the pastor is trying to lead people to Christ in that moment, give them the opportunity, and you find the one note that doesn't match anything that you've been playing. Yeah. Because I've had those moments, and I just kind of sneak a peek. Nobody saw anything. Okay, we just keep on going,
Smile away.
Pay no attention to the man behind the keyboard.
I was just outlining my sin. That's what it was.
That's so
That's
good.
awesome.
Joyride Week 2 Switchbacks,
Yeah.
as you titled it. You told a really cool story about the winding roads and Katie getting sick, and I'm the same way. I get car sick if I'm not driving, especially like on this long drive. I drove the entire way because somebody doesn't like to drive anyway. But I'm the same way. I get car sick, and we went up that winding road going up to the place where we hiked, and it's this mountain, and it's just these turns, and I was just like, well crap, Carson just talked about this. And as we're getting to the place, I think all of us had a moment that related to your message, which was really cool, which is these switchbacks, when I didn't want to be there at all, first of all. Like, I'm like, this is not my thing. My wife, I told her I was going to say this, the path that she wanted to go to, as we found out from the beginning, was the first half mile was just a gravel road. There was no going through anything.
It wasn't picturesque. It wasn't.
It was
anything
just
you had
it was like a service road. You could tell it was like emergency
Yep.
vehicles go through. So she was just like unhappy. Like, this is the whole way. This is what's gonna be like. In my mind, we're already there was already
Tit for
tension.
tat, yeah.
So I was gonna be like, you didn't listen to Carson talk Sunday, I guess, did you? You know, wait till we get through the season. You know, you got to wait till the end. And I wasn't gonna say that because she was already mad at me, and I was already mad at her because she's making me hike 5 miles.
And you're smarter than that.
Yes, I am very smart.
And you're smarter than this.
And you want to share a story about our son because it was really good and it pertains again to
Yeah,
what we
I
talked
mean,
about.
because nobody was having a good time, and my whole thing was I thought this was gonna be a great family bonding moment, and everybody was just miserable. And about mile 3 or whatever, George was like, he's pretty much said this sucks. Like, he was battling with some anxiety and some fear about heights and things like that. And I was like, but bud, just wait. I was like, wait till we get to the end. It is going to be worth it. In my mind, I was like, no, this sucks. Like, this is not what I imagined too. But I'm trying to hype him up. You know,
Trying to be a mom.
Like, it's gonna be so good. And he made the comment. He's like, I know that the end is coming, but it's not fun right now. And so often in life, along the journey, heck no, it's not fun. And sometimes we can't see past really right what we're in. But when we get to that end of the path, when you see that looking over the hill and wide open, gorgeous sun, that is what it's, the journey's, you know. So, but we had that moment with him. But yeah.
Wow.
We all survived. Nobody died.
Nobody died.
We still love each other. It's good.
You're still married.
He probably won't go hiking again.
I told her I will because I love her.
Yeah, a lot of times we do not like what we're going through. But the end is fantastic. And I try to remind people of that when they're going through, before 10 o'clock this morning, I had talked to 3 people who were all dealing with their parents aging, not aging well, some with the foot into death's door, you know, so that's been my morning, you know, 3 of those before 10 a.m. And with that, it's reminding them, because these are also, all of these parents are all fabulous, amazing Christians, love Jesus, plugged into the church, you know, I mean, just all that. And it's reminding even the people my age, the kids that are dealing with those parents of, hey, don't forget, you know, the end is fantastic. Yeah. The end, what we are promised after this, one of the reasons we have the faith that we have is heaven is real, and it's fantastic. You win even in death. And so we might not like what we're going through, but man, the end is fantastic. And I think we have to remind ourselves of the view at the top, because we know the view.
Yeah, we really do. We just get lost in the switchbacks.
Yeah.
And we just get lost in the struggle and the anger. And that's like, it's cool how you said, you know, the for your psalm, it changes through the life experiences. I never experienced Servolution till here. So before that, the example of Thanksgiving that I had was watching my mom struggle with my grandfather, because he was so mistrusting. He was so angry. He was so hard to work with and be around, but she was always so thankful dealing with him. And she was thankful dealing with him because she's like, he doesn't have anybody else. He's just going to sit here and waste away. So if I can be part of it, I'll be a part of it, even if he's mean. And even in all of those horrible switchbacks, he's at a better place, and she feels better about what she did. And you get lost in it. You get lost in the switchbacks and the anger, and you don't want to do anything. And it's cool that Jesus reminds us to approach God like a child, because your son responds in the same way. It's very blunt. Kids are blunt like that, but they also have the earnest to not be as self-doubting and as defeated as we get as adults.
Yeah.
So as adults, what do you guys think is a good way when you're in the switchbacks to stay, you know, that balance of staying present where you are? Because if you take the wrong step on a switchback, you gone.
Yeah,
right.
Down the mountain.
But just how do you stay present in that moment, even if it's painful, but yet at the same time, what are some positive things that you can do to remind yourself of the view at the top? Like from your own personal, you've never been through switchbacks, Jason? That's cool. The rest of us have problems.
I mean, I got 2. So
Always the straight and narrow right here, buddy. Always.
Always.
Yeah.
The 2 that I have are the same thing. So I didn't know you could change things on the way your cell phone looks now until like a month ago. So you can actually make the verse of the day pop up on your screen through the app, which was something I didn't know.
I knew that. Yes.
And
I'm older than him, and I knew that.
I'm telling you
widgets.
this, man.
They're called
Oh,
widgets.
widgets.
They're called
Carson.
widgets. I didn't know the widgets existed until like a month ago. But also, you can take and you can have your photos. You can select a favorite album, and you can make that widget be your album. So I have a list of favorites. It's crazy, but it works for me. I take random pictures of life through good things, whether it's the day that my parents, were able to kind of talk to each other again, the times where my grandmother was able to hike this thing or go skydiving or whatever it would be. And I just go to those, man. That helps me. If it's kind of like pulling over the side of the road and checking the map and like, okay, this sucks right now, but we're going to get through it.
See, that's one of the things I do. I have my
It's
iPad
really
set up.
awesome.
I don't have it on my phone. I have it on my iPad. So in the morning when I get it, that's where I read the Bible and stuff. And I have the photo memories. And so those are really solidifying moments. A lot of them, for me, are of my kids when they were younger. And so I look at those pictures of my kids when they were younger and remember, obviously, how old they are now. And it's just like it's a great balancing act for my brain to remember I used to be there, and I did enjoy those moments. I really did. I enjoyed my kids at all these ages, but I need to enjoy them right now as well, because in another 5 years, there's a whole new phase coming, and keeps you grounded like that.
And it reminds you that, there were struggles that happened when they were 10, 11, 12 years old that you're not dealing with anymore, but you traded those same struggles for new ones, and it reminds you that, there's new ones coming as well, but you see the positives throughout all those struggles.
Yeah.
So that's mine. I mean, if you don't heart out like photos and make an album, do it, because it's really easy to go back and look and just be like, yeah, I got through this.
What were you going to say? You were going to say something.
Well, no, so, because what about the moments when it's so deep and so dark that you can't move? And I think a lot of times, because we get stuck in that moment, and I feel like people in your life, it is very important to have community, because it's at those times that those people can come alongside you and they can push you in the journey, and they can let you know. Because sometimes you have complete blinders on. You can't see 2 days ahead because you can't see past the moment. And so it's when it's important to link arms and to have community to be able to usher you into, the next season or whatever. But also, like you were saying, have moments in life that you can reflect on to know, okay, well, I've seen God's goodness and I've seen his faithfulness. Like, he's going to do it again. It might not be the same way. There's always a way out.
Oh yeah.
Always. I think, let me say this. In your dark areas, when you say that's when you need community and to link arms, yes, but only if you're mature enough to listen to the people that you've linked your arms with.
Yeah.
I experience a lot of people that in their dark moments, in fact, dealing with one right now, not in this red hot moment, but yesterday, dealing with someone who is in a dark place, and they're like in a small group here at the church. They're surrounded by great people who are all giving them great advice. And then they don't take the advice. They choose to stay in the darkness. And it's just like, then why are you in community? So I think when it's good, you have to mature yourself enough to just tell yourself, when it is dark, I am going to listen to the people I've linked my arms with. Even though I disagree with it in that moment, I'm going to do that. Yeah. I had one of my overseers, this was several years ago, give me some advice. And I told him on the phone, I said, I completely disagree with you, and I think you're wrong. And he laughed. He said, okay. And I said, but I'm going to do it anyway because I know that you have my best interest at heart, and you're seeing things that I can't see. Yeah. So I'm just telling you on the front end, you're wrong, and this is probably not going to work, but I'll do it anyway. And the amazing thing is, guess what happened? He was 100% right. I was not seeing because I had blinders on. But what if I would have been a turd and just said, no, I'm doing this, you're wrong. Well, no, I committed to that relationship, and that's why we have those relationships. So we got to be mature enough to
I think we do that with our kids too. Like, we try to tell our kids, like, I'm telling you this for a reason, not to try to hurt you, not to make you sad, not to poo-poo on your fun, but there's a reason why I'm telling you not to do this or to do this. Carson, you said this: the music you are making today will influence generations to come.
Yeah, that was a great line, by
the
way.
I was like, oh, and I looked like Layla was sitting right next to me, and I looked right at her. Of course, she looked right at me, and I looked right at her, because in her mind, she connected music, but it was a lot deeper than that, because it is the fruits that we're bearing, which you talked about in week 3. And we'll get to that in just a second, but I thought that was a fantastic line.
Well, I think for students and for parents, really, you do, and you've gone through it. But the hard reality is you can't let the fear of your child experiencing it change the way you're going to tell them what they're going through. And 9 times out of 10, all the students I deal with that are so struggling with, my parents don't understand me. They don't listen. They just feel judged. They don't want their parent, like your parents really love you, but they're so terrified of you going through a third of what they went through that the reaction is just to circle the wagons and protect. And that's all you do. And that's a great way of doing it. But this generation, as influenced and as accessible to culture as they are, they don't want that. They don't want to be sheltered into a bubble. They want to have a real conversation of, okay, well, why don't you want me to be gay? Why don't you want me to get into alcoholism? Why don't you want me to have multiple partners? Why does this matter? Why does it matter if I move out when I'm 16? Why does it matter if I just uproot my life? And if you say it from the, well, that's just not what happens, or that's just not how God intended it. Okay, great, but that's not going to be enough. You're going to have to be real with them about your story and let yourself be vulnerable. And there's just so much of that parents don't want to do because you then are less than in your own eyes to your child, but you're not. You're being as honest as real as a musician makes music, because it's something about their soul they put into the music. And so you got to do the same thing for your kids. Yeah. Because they don't want it. They can go on TikTok and they can hear 20 different stories of somebody dealing with gender dysphoria. But hearing their own parents go through it and say, I still struggle with it, that's way more impactful. Because it just comes out as judgment. And it's not judgment, but parents, you got to be honest with them. Got to talk to them about what you're going through and what they're going through. Because they're just as scared as you are.
So good stuff. Week 3, actually, hang on a second. Celebrate Recovery is tonight at 6:30 right here at SouthPoint Church. So if you're dealing with these switchbacks, dealing with any kind of hang-ups, hurts, past issues, whatever it might be.
I believe the line is habits. Hang-ups, and hurts.
Yeah, you know.
The triple H.
Hurts, habits, and hang-ups.
Hurts,
all that
habits,
stuff.
and
Same
Triple
thing.
No,
H.
you got to do it in
Triple
the
H.
right order.
You gotta be in the right order.
Hey.
Same thing.
Triple H.
Same thing.
Uh,
I'm dyslexic.
Tonight here at 6:30, and is it in the Kids Point area?
Kids Point.
Kid Point
We're
area.
almost there, like
I was almost
twice.
there. Man, I tell
You're in the
you
right
what,
wing of the building.
It's like I'm trying to go up that hill and I'm just stumbling. I get there eventually, though. Get there eventually. Joyride week 3 this past week, Pastor Craig. Lappiness.
Happiness.
Come on, be
You need these
lappy.
words, man. You need your own dictionary.
Just making up stuff.
He does not.
Lappiness.
He does
The
not.
word
need-
according to Craig Wendel. Here's the translated
There's a
edition.
widget for you on your phone. Craig, what word is that?
Craigology. Just
Craigology.
do a widget. Oh, I need a widget. Yes. Yes.
Cringing.
That definitely can't cost that much. Don't worry.
Put it on the app.
We'll
You
get
need a
rough
widget
numbers.
for other reasons. But
Oh my goodness.
Yes, I talked about lappiness.
Talk about lappiness.
Lappy.
I got to tell you something. You sang Happy Birthday to people, and you talked
no,
about
he
the
didn't. No, he did not sing "Happy Birthday" to anybody.
Yes, I did. I sang it to somebody.
Somebody's birthday had to be last
It was
Sunday.
it had to be somebody.
Okay.
And you talked about the pie in the face, and
Yes.
that brought back childhood memories because that's like a Mexican thing.
Yes.
Like you're supposed to take a bite of the cake.
You're Mexican?
A little bit, just a smidge. And I can't tell you
thought
how many
his name
times
was
I
Carl.
had my face pushed into the cake. Icing everywhere, cake everywhere.
First time I saw that was one of my friends, and they're all white folk, right? All Caucasian crackers. Anyway, probably should have left cracker off of that. Anyway, and we were at their house for
took a
their
turn.
little girl's birthday, and she went to blow out the candles, and he did that. He shoved her face in the cake. I was mortified. I had never seen this before. It was when we were in Florida. I mean, I was just like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And she starts crying. It was
course, yep.
traumatic for her.
It is.
Dad is laughing
everybody
because
else.
and I'm just like, this is not honoring.
And
So,
it's like, well, that section of the cake is yours.
yes,
Everybody else.
with your face.
But
put on.
yes, I had many a cake. pushed
Did
in
you
my face.
enjoy that?
No, never.
Okay.
Now,
You
when
did
you
it to our
when you
kids,
get to
though.
when you get to do it to somebody else, that's when you get to enjoy it. That's the rite of passage. You pay your dues,
You pay your
and then later on, when you're older. And it's like when you're doing this, especially later on, you're like blocking everybody out. And there's always somebody that comes up like the ninja and just,
Whoosh.
praise the Lord.
Pray the Lord.
But it's traumatizing. It is. It's terrible. But hey,
Hated it.
have fun.
Yeah.
You know,
don't shove pie in their face.
I was laughing internally. I thought it was great. There's that squeak again. There's your.
Yeah, I do not like that. But anyway.
The way you smile when you make the noise is just
Because I don't have to do anything. I just breathe and it.
I don't know if y'all can hear that at home, but his chair squeaking over here is fantastic. My goodness. Lappiness. You talked about, I'll be happy when.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like that's something that people go through, and milestone happy life equals a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that speaks right into the American dream, does it not?
Yes, it does.
The pursuit of happiness.
Yeah.
Because you're never there.
Never. It's
You're
always
never there.
pursuing.
It's always a pursuit. It's never a, hey, how about you live in some happiness?
Mm-hmm.
No, you need to keep pursuing it. And we'll let you know when you get there. You're never going to get there.
Yeah, it's like, especially when you're young and you get married, you're thinking, we'll be happy when we are financially stable. When we reach this line of financial income, we'll be happy because we think that that's happiness.
Yeah.
And then I think every young couple goes through this. You reach that, right? You get raises, you get better jobs, you reach that line, but that carrot's moved, bro. Now it's down here.
Yep.
My first full-time ministry position, youth pastor, full-time, $18,600 a year.
Spend
That was my salary. Awesome. Yes, it was awesome. And so, of course, Patty had a job at the same time because that's not a lot of money. And so it was the same thing. Well, we'll be happy as this young married couple when we make enough to whatever that line, I forget what that line was. And we got there. And then you look around and it's like, oh, I'm happy when. It's always the win. And honestly, like very recently, I'm really getting into the mindset of I'm happy right now. I mean, like, is everything going well? No, I could make a list of stuff that's not going well, but I choose to be happy, and I'd rather live lappy.
Yeah.
Lappy.
Lappy.
It's great. Because later on in that Psalm 37, it's where King David says, he goes into finances and stuff, which I think is, for me,
But you have to say in the KJV version, though. You got to say in the King James version.
I will, because I only know it. I have it memorized in King James, actually New King James version. David said, "I've never seen his seed out begging for bread. I've never seen God's children out begging, never." And that's a huge line. And if I'm always worried about I'm going to have to beg for bread, that negates my happiness because now I'm worried. And you don't have to worry. Just relax. Enjoy life.
It is that pursuit because, I mean, there was a study that came out like last month or a month before where they just pulled a whole bunch of people about, when will you be happy? And what they found out for finances is everybody that was saying they were at 40,000, they were looking to be, I just need to get double of that and I'll be happy. But it was the same across the board for people that were making 150,000. They needed double that to be happy. Yeah. So it was this constant just desire that if I have double of what I have, I'll be happy. And it was always investing in something new instead of it being focused on what you have in front of you and being, like you said, that present feeling of it's okay. And it was just, it's crazy to me that exists in culture. If you make a certain amount, you want double.
Double, really? That's crazy.
Because if I have double of that, I can. But with double comes all the other things you can get with that, which means you need another double.
Which is why. That's why you keep moving the bars. That's you keep moving the goalposts. That's the problem. Yeah. Once you get to that point, you have also made your budget
higher.
Spend all that, rather than saying I'd like to be at 80,000. I'm at 40,000, and I'm actually living a little bit comfortably. Maybe I'm not able to go and do all the big things and buy the big things, but those are not needs, they're wants. Recognize that in that moment. None of us really do. I mean, it's rare, I think, in those moments to say, I really do have enough. When I get to 80,000, that's great, but I only need 40, And I'm just using arbitrary numbers, but you get what I'm saying.
Right.
Absolutely.
By the time you get to that 80, you have counted for, I'm spending all of this stuff. Man, I really need more.
I need 120.
Because now I can't do that thing, Or I need 4 more of these things that I bought,
And like Paul said, he said, I've learned to be content in all things. And that's that verse, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Yeah.
So I can do all things through Christ, including being content and happy with where I am today, right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I come from a line of a certain side of my family that that's been the attitude. Now, they came from absolutely nothing to the tiniest village in Mexico, literally, because I've been there. I've seen where my dad grew up. So I know that they came from absolutely nothing, from like no electricity, no nothing, to creating their own path and then being successful. But once they got a taste of that American dream, it was never enough. And it's still now, even in later ages, even my dad's later age now, he still is not satisfied with what he has. And I try to explain that to him, like, you have this, you have this, you have this, and you have this, you have this. Take joy in what you have, because you will never be happy if you have that attitude of it's not enough, or it's not big enough, or it's not fast enough, it's not pretty enough, it's not whatever enough. And I have to remind him that in Christ we are enough, right? I mean, I have to constantly turn that around, not to be a parent to my dad, but to be like, wake up, like, you have this,
It really comes down to, what are you allowing in your life to define what happiness is? Is it according to the scriptures and what God has for you, or is it according to the world and what the world says equals happiness?
Absolutely.
You're not really living unless this, and you're not really, your fullest life unless these things, you hit these marks. And does that really line up with what God wants for you, or does that the American dream or the world, whatever you want to say?
And it is, I think it really is the American dream. Because when you travel to other countries, it's just different. Especially when I lived in Honduras, that was the one thing that every single American group that came commented on, every single one. How can these people be happy? Because they're sitting there. I mean, they witnessed these people. I know times have changed in that little village now, but when I was there, they were literally living in a 10 by 10 mud hut, probably about 8 to 10 in the average family. They would sleep in shifts. And, like, I'm not exaggerating. They would have 1 or 2 hammocks, and they would sleep in shifts every single day of their life. And yet, when you walk down the trail or whatever, they're sitting out on their front dirt porch. It's not really a porch, just the front dirt. And the kids are playing, and the parents are laughing and talking and just enjoying life. And they're happy. They have nothing. They're eating rice and beans, and if they get lucky, they have some eggs. And they're happy. Completely happy. And so these Americans come and they base happiness on stuff, and Hondurans were basing happiness on life. And it's just a different way to live.
Man, that's good stuff. That's a life lesson right there, everybody. I'm gonna switch to another point you talked about. You were talking about leaning in on those people. You said we are so against everything that we miss the beautiful people. When you're talking about growing up in a church that was against everything. Everything. But you said we were so against everything that we missed the beautiful people that are in our culture. We would be happier if we stop putting effort in the acts of stop focusing on their acts, but focusing on the people who are doing the acts. And I felt like it was a mic drop moment and another moment, because I was sitting in the front row. I was in the spit zone, right in front of you, and you can hear that right here, just the silence. Like, it was another one of those moments where the toes were probably curled. I'm not sure if anybody snuck out the back, but
I had one family leave second service.
Did you? Oh,
well, one family got up and left. So,
Bye.
bye. That's why here at SouthPoint we do have one whole wall full of doors. You can pick one. I mean, I just think when you look at the New Testament and you look at the way Jesus lived his life, he was constantly looking at people, never the stuff. Even the woman that was caught in the act of adultery, okay? I mean, if you know that story, she's dragged out, and everybody there is all looking at the actions that she did. Everybody there is talking about the actions that she did. And Jesus did not. He was looking at her and talking to her. And even in the ones throwing the stones or wanting to throw the stones, he was looking at them and talking to them as people. there's just not a lot of examples. In fact, I can't think of one. I'm sure somebody out there in digital world can come up with one, but where Jesus talked about actions more than he talked to the person. And we say we want to be like Jesus and act like Jesus, but then we turn around and walk and live our lives like a Pharisee rather than a Christ follower. Because the Pharisees were doing the exact opposite. They were always about the actions. Well, you did this right and you did this wrong and this, and this. And even the Pharisees and stuff that came to Jesus to ask questions, they were always asking questions about actions, never about people. And I just think we need to get back to people. And that's, Jesus died for people, not to remove actions off of a list.
That's really good.
That's my thoughts, Carlos.
Oh,
There's a little bit of a
no,
pause there. That's just
No, I didn't.
He had nothing to return.
I got
That was an
nothing.
ace.
That was
An ace.
Swing. A swing and a miss.
Oh, yes. He missed. I pitched
Right,
good, right?
right.
Or served
Right.
well.
Yeah.
Served
I
well.
missed.
Served
I
well.
missed.
Served well.
You said stop throwing stones at those in their sin, but get to know the person instead. Again, really good. I think, like I said, I heard the silence, the pin drop. It was just like you could tell that internally a lot of people struggle with that. Obviously, we do. In the world of social media, everybody has an opinion. And it doesn't matter what the topic is or who the topic is or what it is. Somebody has an opinion, and if somebody else is there to fight them on it.
I had a beautiful conversation with someone. This was several months ago, that they were going through this whole gender change. I mean, they were going through the process. They don't live here; they live somewhere else. But and just getting to talk to them, because my question is, why? You know, like I don't know. It's just why. And I know there's a lot of debate and all that going on right now about that whole world, and that's fine, debate and talk. But I was just curious about the person, you know, and so just start asking, well, why? Well, I feel this. No. Like, you know, and you just keep going back and getting to know their story.
Yeah.
And the more I got to hear this person's story, the more heartbroken I became, because I realized what they were doing now, and this is just an individual person, so I'm not broad stroking or this individual person. What they were going through now was the only solution they saw to match the pain that they had walked through. And it was like, I understand. I don't agree at all. I think you've chosen the wrong solution.
Yeah.
But I understand. And so instead of judging sin, let's just look at the person. I counseled when I was in the schools. I had this one student that was into a gang, and she was like really into. I mean, like for real. She was in the. I think it was the Bloods. It was either the Bloods or the Crips. Whatever. She was in a gang. I know that matters a lot out there in gang world, but to me it was just like, whatever, you're in a gang. And so anyway, had some great conversations with her. They were doing a lot of nefarious activity that she was telling me because of like that. Because I was her counselor, so it was all confidential. So that the nefarious activity that they were doing was pretty serious. But then start talking to her about, okay, yeah, you did that. Yeah. Why? And hearing that story and taking it all the way back. And I had talked to her to the point where she said, okay, well, I'd be willing to get beat out of the gang. But she said, let me ask you why. Why would I? And I thought for a second, and I said, well, why wouldn't you? And she said, because that's my family. She said, I don't have a mom. I don't have a dad. She said, they feed me, they take care of me, and they love me. What can you offer? And it was just again, that conversation only came because we weren't focusing on the nefarious activity, but the person. And there's just such beautiful people and beautifully painful stories that I think we're supposed to be engaged in, and we're missing a lot of opportunities.
You talked about the fruits that are on us are for everyone else to taste and see. And that has to go with it, because if we're treating people in the church or we're treating people out in public like garbage and we claim to be Christians or Christ followers, then we're just feeding that bad fruit.
The bad fruit.
The bad fruit.
Yeah.
Not the good. He wants to send you the shriveled tomatoes, not the good ones.
I want good tomatoes. What do you call those? The mortgage?
Mortgage lifters, those weren't really good. I'm switching them all the way on Better Boys.
That's the name. That's the name of tomatoes. I didn't know this. He actually.
There's a story behind that, but I don't. That derails what we're talking about here. I'll tell you later.
How old are you, dude?
Oh man, he can be as old as
I'm
he
not-
wants. When you're producing great tomatoes, I love.
It has
tomatoes.
nothing to do with age. It does have something to do with reading.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
high five up top.
Wow.
Boom.
I'm not reading the Farmer's Almanac. I'm good.
You should. It's a good book. Good book.
But absolutely, people want to call the church hypocrites and things like that.
Mm.
And, well, they're doing that if we're the ones that are giving them the bad stuff. Right?
So, in the bad fruit producing that tends to happen, does that? It's my estimation and my experience is when we try to maybe do the work of the Holy Spirit in those moments. And so we hand down our own judgment of, and this is your solution, and if you don't do it, then you're just choosing to be the bad person or the whatever, you know, instead of partnering with the Holy Spirit in that moment to say, I'm going to step in to know this person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to hear all the things that maybe I'm not going to like, and I don't think they're making good decisions, but I'm going to let this person know they're being heard, and then using that discernment. So you're listening to God in those moments, and knowing when to step in and say certain things, and being willing to have those encounters, knowing that you may not ever see the fruit.
Yeah.
And that's a difficult thing, especially for a lot of American Christians.
Agrees. But what if the fruit is not outcome based like you're thinking? What if the fruit that we should be enjoying is just the relationship?
Totally. Yeah, I
You
get
know?
that.
Because I think
But
a
we
lot of
get what I'm-
Christians
yeah,
would
go ahead.
think the fruit is I have to get this person saved.
Yeah, that's where.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
we're expecting something immediate
Yes.
here. I got to see something I got to see an aha moment in this,
Right.
this, you know.
Right.
And that's not necessarily what we're supposed to be.
I need to see a revival fire flicker in your eye.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's also why did you become friends with this person? Did you become friends and buy into a relationship with them because one day you'll be the one that saves their soul, or did you buy in a relationship with somebody because you actually genuinely like this person? I mean, I'd rather have 15 people actually genuinely care about me if I'm walking through traumatic issues and stuff, and even if I'm not living right, whatever you want to claim that as, than 150 that just want me to be another tick on I walk somebody to a salvation. Because that's not what it's about. Because then we get mad with people that we become friends with, and then they fall farther into sin or issues, and it's like, because you hear it. I mean, you hear like, I just prayed for so many years that they wouldn't fall into this, and it's like, is that all you were praying for?
Yeah.
You were just praying that they would be saved from
That's
this
good.
affliction. You
Yeah.
didn't care about them as a person.
Right.
Like, it's ridiculous.
Uh-huh.
So don't get into that. If you don't want to be friends with somebody and you don't want to walk with them in a relationship, don't have the relationship. God will send somebody else.
Yeah.
But you're not the
Yep.
next prophet. You're not there to just turn around and save souls. That's not our job.
Right.
Yep.
It's not.
It's crazy though, but that's
Yeah.
again that American mindset of
Yep.
bigger, better, greater. And so you serve a pursuit of salvation instead of serving a relationship.
So we say regularly here at SouthPoint, or I've said it for years, but so you can come here, go to church here, and not be saved. You can belong before you believe.
Yep.
But with that, I also say, because I don't think you can hang out in the presence of the Lord on an ongoing basis and not get saved.
Yep.
Okay. So then turn that around for a relationship. If you're only into this relationship for me to lead you to the Lord through a sinner's prayer, the ABCs, of all that. But if we just hang out and I am not backing up from my Christian beliefs. I'm a follower of Christ. I'm a man of faith. And this is how I'm going to live my life. If you're unsaved and you're a pagan or whatever, but you choose to be my friend, I believe that if we're friends long enough, the anointing of God will still impact you where you'll want to change.
Yep.
Instead of, are you ready to say the prayer yet?
Yep.
And then they say the prayer, but nothing's changed. They only said the prayer to appease you because I don't want to challenge our relationship.
Or even they make a life change, but it's not as radical as you wanted it. They didn't just throw everything away, change everything. It's like, no, that's not real. That's like saying, I mean, if you could cold turkey every sin in your life, I don't know what the power of the Holy Spirit and actual growth in life would mean. If we had the ability to cold turkey everything and be like, nope, I'm never going to do that again. I'm never going to do that again. I'm never going to do that again. It's a process through life, and you get one thing, but then something else will rear its head, and it's like, okay, time to work on that. Oh, I've worked on my pride. I'm working on my pride. Oh, now I'm going to work on my vengeance. Well, now I'm going to work on my anger. Now I'm going to work on this addiction. I'm going to work on this, and it's a process.
Here's a switchback,
it's another switchback.
Here's
Like,
no
until
switchback.
you
Now I gotta
die,
get something else. Yeah.
until you die, there's always another switchback. There are great times where you're on the mountain and you get these outlooks and you get to pull off and look at everything. And you're like, man, that really wasn't that bad. But you still got to get back on the road.
Yep.
And it's just, I think we are so frustrated because we want people to be saved. We don't want to know them. We just want them to believe what we believe. And it's like, no.
Yeah, people want to throw the Bible in their face instead of being like, hey, man, how you doing today?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah, we want them to be saved. We don't want them to be known.
No, we
That's-
just want them to be saved because it's a race or some kind.
So this is a little plug for The Chosen because we're
Absolutely.
meeting
There.
on Wednesday
Absolutely.
nights to
Get it.
watch. We're in
Season
two?
two?
of The
Hey.
Chosen, but it's one of the things that I like the most about the writing and the way they present the gospel and present Jesus and how he interacts with people, because it's always on a personal level, and it's never about shaming. It's never about, let's point out your sin. Here it is.
Yeah.
This is all the things you did that are egregious.
Egregious. That goes with my nefarious.
Yeah, what is with you guys and these $20 words today?
We read books.
Again, we read. So
We read.
I listen.
it's one of the beautiful things, and then you see the struggle of his disciples of understanding this is not what we've been taught, how things are going to go down. When the Messiah gets here, it's all about conquering and kicking people out of where we don't think they should belong. And no. It's just, he has those moments.
That's what they expected. He was going to come in right on a horse and just take over everything.
Yeah, one of the best episodes in the second one is one of the shortest episodes, and it's basically just the disciples around a fire talking.
Yes.
Yes.
And at the
That was
beginning
so
of
good.
that, they're all looking at each other and say, what was your expectation when the Messiah would come? And it's like, well, I pictured myself running through the streets of my neighborhood, clocking Romans on the head with a sword, and the different expectations, and there was nothing.
Yeah.
So far, it's been nothing like that.
Yeah.
Everything's been turned on their head for them, and they don't understand it. And so they are, in a way, very much like children. And like, this doesn't make sense, but okay, here we go.
I love The Chosen.
Yeah, and
It's
then being
so
caught
good.
in the moments where they see Jesus ministering to somebody, whether it's a healing or an emotional connection or whatever, they're just kind of sitting back going, man, this is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
They're just taking notes,
Yeah. When you didn't say
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah. So
time,
Wednesday nights, during that crazy stuff that's going on with all the kids.
That's Glow Up.
Oh, Glow Up, yeah.
That's
During
what that
Glow
is.
Up, actually, we take over the Kids Point room and watch it on the projector there.
So what time is that?
6:30
6:30.
sharp is when we
That's what
start.
we're getting at.
I just want people to know 30.
I was getting there, Mr. Impatient. I was getting there. 6:30. We
So
start
good.
sharp at 6:30, and then at the end of it, we have a little brief discussion about.
Yeah.
I allow everybody in the room to say, "Hey, what stuck out to you?" And we talk through it.
That's good
Cool.
stuff.
Yeah,
Sign up on the app or just show up, right?
just show up.
Just show
You
up.
don't have to sign up.
You got
Just show up.
popcorn.
We got popcorn.
Popcorn.
Usually we have popcorn, little snacky
Hey.
stuff.
Can't beat that.
Yep.
Food.
I'm going to hit two more points, and we're going to get out of here. You said happiness is not a lack of storms. Happiness is knowing you will stand in every storm.
Mm-hmm.
We wake up winners every morning as
Every day.
Christians, right? Every day.
Every day.
Christ followers.
Third day.
So you said Pastor Patty will be here Sunday leading us.
She will. I'll
in
be
the
here
next
as
one.
well.
You'll be here still?
I
Okay.
will be
Not going
here.
anywhere.
I really wanted her. I asked her to speak. Like I asked Carson to speak. I feel like these guys had a word. You know what I mean? Just
Yep.
sometimes it's like we need to hear from other people besides me. The Lord is handing out these words. And
Other
so,
people
yeah.
know a buttload about the gospel, too.
Yes, she knows a buttload of Anyway, she's going to be speaking on Psalm 27, so you can
27.
read up on that if you want to.
Read, Carson.
Yep, read the Bible.
Read your
I
Bible.
read the Bible a lot. That's the only book I think I read pretty
Oh,
regularly.
you're trying to say you're holier than us now?
Not at all.
Oh.
Definitely. I need to read it more.
Servolution's coming up.
Yeah, it is.
Weekly up to Easter's.
We have so
We have a
many
lot
events coming
It's
up.
so much.
for
It's going to be so much
Servolution.
fun. Right after Easter, baptism.
But can we back up for just a second?
Yes,
just a little
actually,
bit.
yeah, go ahead.
So we're doing Springfest.
Yeah.
buddy.
You forgot one.
I didn't put that on.
The 9th.
you.
Yes.
February, March. I was in. I had to count.
April.
What month are we?
Wow.
Well, I started back at January,
Hey, we're
February,
flying
March,
through this year
April,
already.
April 9th. That's April 9th. Starting at 9. Is it 9, Jason? I believe.
Starts at 9 and is over at 2. There's going to be all kinds of fantastic things going
Yes.
on. So we'll have little jump houses. We've got various games, crafts that we're going to be doing. I think painting rocks. So if you've ever found those little rocks kind of laying around the lobby or the outside part, we're going to be doing some of those. I think we got balloon
Balloon twisting.
because you can't call it balloon animals for whatever reason. It's
Oh, we
balloon
can't. Oh, because
twisting
they
now.
identify as something different.
Whatever.
Okay.
We're gonna have
that took a
3
turn.
different food trucks there.
Was that too soon? That was
Yeah.
too.
That was it.
We're deep in the
happen.
podcast. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Joe Rogan.
We're gonna have
That's fine.
food trucks there. We're gonna have a egg hunt that happens at
buddy.
11 o'clock.
Hey.
That is going to be all through our Kids Point area and some in the lobby as well. We're expecting great things. My wife Amanda is leading that, and
Awesome.
she is up to her eyeballs in this stuff right now. So she's got a lot of great things planned. We've got a lot of volunteers and could always use more.
Yep.
Yes.
So we're doing it in shifts for
Yep.
those of you who are listening. We're doing
Yeah.
8 o'clock to noon for the morning shift, and then 11 o'clock to 3 for the evening. Or
Awesome.
afternoon.
It's going to be really,
Yeah.
really good. So
We're
that
really
kicks
excited
off.
about it.
That actually kicks off our Servolution week.
Okay.
Yes, it
so
does.
Awesome.
Springfest, Servolution, Easter,
Easter.
and then
You guys have a night of worship coming up.
We do
Blow up
on Wednesday.
this next Wednesday.
This next Wednesday, we're going to do a student night of worship here
Awesome.
at the church. So 6th through 12th graders. It is going to be awesome. Invite your friends. Come out. It's about an hour and a half. It's going to be a lot of fun.
let me just help everybody out there listening, clarifying.
Clarify, baby.
So if I am just a random grown-up
yes.
with no children, nobody in glow up,
Mhm.
and I want to come to night of worship,
Yeah. You
Well,
can't come
but why not, Carson?
Get out.
because this is for students.
Oh,
This
okay.
is for
Just check it
students.
because sometimes there's
Yes.
people that hear night of worship.
Yes, and they think this
Get
is.
excited.
I really think that this generation doesn't know how powerful worship is, and it's
Agreed.
because they're so afraid of being a disappointment to the parents that worship, and it's because they don't want to do it wrong, and they just need the space and the opportunity to do it the way they want to do it.
That's
so
good.
I challenged the students last night and on social media a couple weeks ago to pray up to the night of worship for one thing. Pray for one thing for God to show you, whether it's a family member, happiness, and solving an addiction, whatever it is. Pray on that one thing. Come to the night of worship and open your heart, and I promise you'll hear something. So,
Awesome.
Yeah.
So y'all be praying for these students
Yes,
as they're going to come
please.
into this
Yes.
night of worship, that hearts are opened, minds are blown, everything.
Yes.
Experiences are done. Because I tell you what, sitting in the front of the house or even sitting in the back of the house where me and Katie get to experience worship, I hear y'all singing out there and y'all sound fantastic. I'm telling you, these people, I feel like every week more and more people are singing, more and more people are interacting, and it's been amazing. So let's pray for those students to join in on that as well.
Yeah.
Night of worship, Springfest for the younger students. The
Yes.
Kids. But adults can come to that,
Adults
obviously,
can
because
come.
they
Yeah,
need
yeah,
to
yeah.
adults
drive.
come with that. Bring
Yeah.
your kids.
We'll have the
Definitely.
basketball
Yep.
set up for so older brothers and sisters. You
Yep.
want to hoop and get slammed on by Kareem Kruger. I'll
It'll
be
just
there
be
all day.
honestly, Springfest will be a great full
Yes.
family.
Yes,
event.
it will.
Food
Absolutely,
trucks,
yes.
cotton candy, ice cream,
Yes.
just
all the things.
all the things.
all
It'll
the
be a lot of
fun. Leading up to Servolution Week, and sign up.
Hey,
Find,
yeah, that's on the
find-
app. So
that's
there's
on the
a
app.
lot of different things that you can sign
every-
up for.
yeah.
They're pretty well listed out. Different things happening on different
Mhm.
days, and one of the things that I'm most excited about is the midnight run to the ER, so we can
That's awesome. See,
yeah.
that's my kind of thing.
Red Bulls
I'm
and
a night
candy
shift
bars
guy.
and energy type
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
for those that are working the night shift
We did
at the
that a few
hospital.
years ago, right? We did the night.
Yeah,
thing.
I mean we got
Yeah.
a lot of great things going
Absolutely.
on. So
I look forward every year. Me and the kids do the trash pickup down Main Street, St. Line. That's become our thing every year. So
We love our
get to do
city.
that every
is that
time.
where you found Carson?
I think so.
Okay.
I think I saw
Just
him over there by
There's
the.
a sign that said,
the
"We'll
Chinese-
preach, we'll preach for money."
Just
We'll
picked
preach
up
for
trash.
food.
Sometimes that trash sticks around. I don't know.
Oh,
I've cleaned up a little bit.
A little
clean
bit.
up a little
little
bit. Baptism's coming up. Sign up as well. For those of y'all who have hit them switchbacks, want to be redunked. You believe in
Yeah.
redunking?
I
Get
do believe in
redunked.
redunk.
What are we up
If
to
you have
now?
made a decision,
Last I looked, it was 21, but
21.
that was
Come on,
yesterday.
get those
sometime,
numbers up.
so.
Let's get some more people in.
That'd be awesome.
Prayer 9 o'clock Saturday morning.
Yep,
It is
yep.
a wonderful time. Sunday 9 o'clock 10:15. I think I've hit all of the times.
You
Yeah.
have.
Hey,
Good
we love
job,
you
Coach.
guys. Thank you so much for joining us. What are you guys loving? Real
Jesus.
quick. Jesus.
Hiking.
Hiking.
Jesus, come on, man. Everybody knows you like Jesus.
I do. I do.
know you love Jesus. I do as well. But I'm also enjoying March Madness.
Hey.
And my
How's your
my-
bracket?
My razor. I don't care about my bracket.
Okay.
My Razorbacks.
That means he's out.
That should tell you something.
That means
Yes,
it's
I only
busted.
have 2 left in the Final
This
Four.
man
There it
said
is.
My Razorbacks
Good Lord.
are the only SEC team left
Hey.
in the tournament, and we played the number 1 overall
Gonzaga, right?
Gonzaga
Gargonzola.
tonight at 6 o'clock.
Gorgonzola.
Gargonzola, yes,
Isn't that their name?
yes,
The cheese.
yeah, cheese.
Cheese, not the basketball.
We're
team.
gonna get
You were
cheese.
close, though.
They're cheeseheads. Gargonzola.
So yeah, I'm loving that.
What are you loving?
Having a seat at the table today. Thank y'all for
Hey,
letting me
there you
join.
go. You're welcome. Katie, what are you loving?
Self-care and improvement.
It's good.
That's awesome.
Mine was actually serious, unlike Jason's.
He's from Arkansas. Like
I'm
them winning,
serious.
that's
What are you
that's
talking
the.
about?
They're over here
excited.
thinking this is the second coming.
No,
Thanks.
no,
Thanks for judging me.
Do you have
I
a
love
book?
that.
Do you have a book recommendation out
welcome.
there? You have a book you're loving right now?
I'm currently reading one called War and Rest, which is very good. I'm enjoying that. But if you're not a book reader, I'm still going to recommend the last book that I keep recommending for the last 3 years, The Ruthless Elimination
Absolutely.
of Hurry. If you have not read that,
Yes.
you're an idiot. Okay, well, that sounds harsh.
It's a little harsh.
A little harsh.
That is
I would
harsh.
highly recommend
It's great
you
until you
read.
get that list at the end. And it's
Dude, I'm
like,
still working on that list.
like
It's been
this-
years. I have yet to succeed at
That ain't happening.
all of them.
Yeah,
But yes,
absolutely. Hey, we love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. Read your Bibles. Be happy. And we'll see you back in a couple weeks.
bye.
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 Adios.
What do you guys think about the lyrics from that song, Be Happy? I'm happy with a room without a roof. What the heck does that mean?
I thought that we ended.
Happy.
Because with a room without a roof is you're happy.
There's no
even-
limit.
There's no limit. Like.